Okay, this is Matthew, and now we're doing a two-part answering the questions. Because we got to like 20 minutes or something. So we'll just start again. Well, here we are. Um, D. Silentio, have you read some of Kate Chopin? What's your opinion on her? And I think we've corresponded a little bit by this point, but since you left this comment, I went to the bookstore and I picked up Awakening, and in fact, just this morning I've been reading The Awakening, and it's beautiful. It's just floral and elegant and expertly. It's exacting, um, and there's a craftsmanship to it. I'm not really sure where the story's going yet, but I am enjoying the writing. I feel like it's right on the line of turning to stuffy, but it's not there yet. Um, so I, it's really beautiful and eloquently put. So I'm enjoying it, and thank you for the recommendation. I'm glad you put it on my radar. Steve Donahue. That terrifying creature is very nearly as big as you are. So my question is, if you are in some kind of hostage situation, can you signal for help without risking reprisals? So the terrifying creature that Steve is talking about is my dear cat Daphne. And I should point out, of my two cats, Daphne is the smaller of the two, significantly. She's about maybe 18 pounds, whereas Andy is about 25 pounds. And they're not overweight, they're just very large cats. And what did he say? If you are in some kind of hostage situation, can you signal for help without risking reprisals? I'm just going to say it. I think Steve is a closeted cat lover. I think he is. He adores cats. Send him pictures of cats. Hello, Steve. Tripp, what is your least favorite Flaubert novel? Is there any? Okay, I'll stop there. I'm going to say Bovard and Picochet. I guess just because it's unfinished. Um, I love the beginning of it. It could be my favorite Flaubert novel if it was finished. If it was 3 or 4 times as long. So there's always a feeling of disappointment getting towards the end where you can tell selections have just been kind of patched together. Um, but there's nothing. I like everything by Flaubert. So my least favorite novel is a novel where we didn't get all of Flaubert. Is there any author you revere but who's overlooked by either literary critics, the mass public, or both? Um, and I don't really know. Maybe a different version of this question is that there are some authors that I like to read in translation where I know they have a lot of work, but only a limited amount has been translated into English. And an author that comes to mind is Alphonse Daudet or Daudet. He wrote Letters from My Windmill, which, among other things, but that's something available in English. And I love it. He's a writer that I really enjoy, and I know that he was, in his day, popular and prolific. So knowing that there's a whole bunch of novels by a writer that I like does kind of perk my ears up, and I wish they were more readily available to me. Of course, I could learn French, but that's a whole other thing. Have you tried writing fiction, and do you plan to do so in the future? I have. I've written some short stories before. I'll say I don't ever take it very seriously. I don't have the mindset or the passion or dedication to call myself a writer, or to feel that I have aspirations for writing. It's not, at least in fiction, I'm not I'm not a novelist. I'm not a short story writer. If anything, I am a very loose, casual writer. So, which country would you like to visit? And that would be if I could only go to. I've never left the States, so I've never been to another country. And when I do, the first country that I want to go to is Ireland. And I don't know if you ever go through this, but sometimes I fantasize about wanting to live places where I've never been. And for me, that's Ireland. And I kind of joke and say, the first time that I go to Ireland, I'm just going to bring all my bags with me, just in case. Um, so, yeah, I would love to spend time in Ireland. And of all the places in the world, that's where I could imagine um, sight unseen living at. And I would like to go to France. Um, what do you think about modern art? Some of it I really like. Mark Rothko, he has those like colored squares. If you just see him on, if you just see like a picture of them in a book, or if someone describes them to you, um, it seems like that sort of jokey scam of um, a blank canvas that's in a museum. But if you walk into a Rothko room, one of those, some museums have them where it's a dedicated room that just has those Rothkos. So there's just these colored panels. It really is an experience. Rothko's a painter that I like a lot. Lee Kempter, Daphne, you are gorgeous. She's right there. Andrea S. Which three writers, dead or living, would you go grab a beer with? And most importantly, what type of beer would you order? So, I always kind of think about the talkers, writers that I think are great talkers. So, Oscar Wilde, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Dorothy Parker. That sounds like, to me, that sounds like quite the table. I don't know if anyone would get any one word in any which way, but yeah, that sounds fun. And what type of beer would you order? I like drinking German beer. Like a really good, clean, strong German beer sounds good. If it was hot, maybe like a Mexican beer, a Tecate. And it kind of sounds like we'd be in England, so maybe one of those like brown ales. I could drink that. Tell us about your favorite art movements, painters, and paintings. Congrats and well deserved. Well, thank you. So there's a lot. I might have talked about my affection towards Cubism, but that's not necessarily an objective opinion. But I love 19th century English and French paintings, like artists like, I don't know how to pronounce any of the names, but Corot or Corbeau, or Millet, Manet. I like some of the old masters like Rembrandt. I like the Impressionists, Monet, Van Gogh. Of the 20th century, I'm a fan of Matisse and a lot of Picasso, and George Braque. George Braque is one of my favorite painters in the modernist style. SoCal0188. This is so cool. I'm a new subscriber and I appreciate you putting this out there. Why, hello and thank you. What is your favorite genre of books to read and why? I'm not sure about that. Like, I don't know what it's called, but just regular fiction. I don't know if it has a subset, but whatever kind of genre all the classics fall into, I feel like that sounds really pretentious, but I don't know. What is your least favorite genre of books to read and why? I guess I have to say YA, even though I've only read a few YA novels, but I have no interest in exploring that territory. So I mean that has to be my least favorite. I don't read much sci-fi, but I still know that in the future I want to. I want to read more murder mysteries, and so on. Whereas YA, there's just nothing. You know, I'm 37 years old. I don't need to be reading um, something designed for a 15-year-old to read. Even though there's, you know, I'm not judging. I don't have any judgment against teenagers reading books for them to read. I don't need to be reading them. Has a book ever caused you to change your mind about a sincerely held belief? And I don't think so. Nothing really comes to mind, and I don't read for that reason either. So I'm not sure. From the Dusty Bookshelf. So that's Amy. That's another one of my favorite booktubers. Hello, Amy, if you're watching. Daphne is adorable. What's your favorite work by Coleridge? And the answer is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I think it's a work of genius, and just clearly the best thing that Coleridge has produced. In casual conversation, I do normally say that Coleridge is one of my favorite poets, but he's sort of a poet that's full of curiosities. So there's so many of his poems that I am intrigued by and curious by and go back and revisit that I don't love. And there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of them are unfinished, or clearly something strange was going on when they were written. But The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is just terrific. But Christabel, or The Frost at Midnight, or Kubla Khan. I have one of those books that I kind of flap through, but he has a lot of great work, but so much of it is like just very curious. So hopefully that's a good answer. I feel like saying The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, it's not a cheat. I mean, it's just fantastic. And I think we're done. Okay, so yeah, that's great. So yeah, this is a 1,400 subscriber Q&A. Thank you for watching. I hope. I think I said at the beginning, but I hope you find some pleasure in watching these videos. I really enjoy interacting and talking with so many of you. So thank you, just thank you, and leave comments if you would like. Leave a comment if you'd like, and thank you. Goodbye.